Why hello everyone, Sean here, and I wanted to make this video to review the new Shaman King that has come out very recently. The new hot thing for the old sort of the old millennium shonen series, Shaman King, based off of the manga, of course, by Hiroki Take. And this was something I fell in love as a teenager. I remember reading the English publication of Shonen Jump. Whenever, for each month there was always that new issue of Shonen Jump, and I always loved catching them, buying it from like a 7-Eleven or something like that, and eventually subscribing to it. I always loved seeing it every month coming to the mail. It was a cool thing to see, and that's how where I discovered Shaman King, and I fell in love with it instantly. It was really cool, and of course, whenever the first anime came out, I watched it to the very end. Whether it was Japanese or the 4Kids edition, lovely, but it was actually one of the better 4Kids dubs in retrospect. It had a cool theme song to it, or catchy one at that, and then they actually had some scenes that I thought would be taken out otherwise, but yeah, they kept those scenes in. Pretty good on them, but anyway. Either way, I read the manga all the way to the end, for the most part, especially with that first ending that he decided to do, and then he came back to do the true ending pretty much, and I read some of the Hana stuff with, yeah. Anyway, I don't want to spoil it here, but. Anywho, I'm going to be talking about the new Shaman King, which unfortunately has not come to Crunchyroll. Apparently, it's going to be coming to Netflix instead, but in August. So obviously, I couldn't wait. So I went to my designated website to check out Shaman King, Episode 1. And I do have a few things to say about it. So here it goes. While the animation stuff is really cool, it's updated, looks good. I do like the style that it reflects on the new art style that Take has picked up over the years. Now, of course, it's very different, let's just say that much, that his art style has changed drastically over the years. If you compare to the chapter 1 to his cover, if you look at his cover of the new manga printouts, it's quite different. So obviously this anime reflects that style, and I think it does a good job doing it. But I think for the most part, that's where my good things kind of stop. For the most part, I like the opening. It is catchy. It's the same singer from way back when, so it is nice for her to return as not only Anna, I believe is Megumi Habashira, I believe her name is. I apologize for butchering it. She also plays Jessie in Pokemon in Japanese, so very cool. Very memorable voice actress. And so it's really good to see most of the cast back for the most part for Shaman King. And the opening was really cool. Just for what it is, it's like a nostalgic sort of whiff, It's in a different song, of course, so preferably I do like the first one still, Oversoul. That's a really cool one. Northern Lights is another cool one too. Yeah, so it's like a toss-up between those two, but the new one, it's just nice to see. I like the opening animation for it. They are pretty ambitious with that. the choices they made. They show the whole crew right away. It's like a thing where they just expect you to know at this point, but sometimes you gotta take it a little easy on those things. There's gonna be a lot of new people watching these things, so I kind of wish they took that into consideration. But it's just nice fan service for the ones who already stuck around for many years, I guess, like myself. So it's pretty good still. It's cool to see, kind of like that nostalgic factor. The good thing is the voice acting, and obviously the sort of the animation style has been updated for the better for the most part, very much reflecting on the on Takei's current style. But that's where it sort of ends for me, kind of, because the pacing and the atmosphere is very much different. If you compare episode 1 from the old anime to today's anime, it's very, very, very different. Now, granted, the first anime did deviate from this story a lot, but I kind of like it. If you kind of look at the two, I mean, of course, this is my opinion, but I feel like the atmosphere in the first one was a lot more appropriate. There's a lot more appropriate musical cues. Things stop at the right time. There's more weight to them in that sense. In this one, it feels like there's just music more frequently. So the pacing and kind of like that sort of weight in those moments kind of feel a little more dry. Not as much, boom. There's not less. It's like less impact to them, at least for me anyway. Because this is the first time you're seeing Yo. This is the first time you're seeing Manta. This is the first time you're seeing Ryu, of the wooden sword, Bokuto no Ryu, and all that stuff. So you want to really definitely get those moments right. For me, it kind of lost it a little bit just because of how it was paced. Now, granted, this anime is sticking to much of the manga storyline, which is good. I do prefer it that way. It's almost like how Brotherhood was sort of treated. But here, the pacing is it's a lot faster, and I call it rushed. But maybe some people kind of like it that way because it kind of gets to the main point faster. But I feel like it'll lose a good number of its character building, because spoiler alert, episode 1 features more than one chapter, like how the first anime on episode 1 did. They only did one chapter. I'm going to talk about it here. You already see Mosuke, the swordsmith who makes Harusame for Minamaru. He was waiting for him for many years, and then already Yo enters that museum to get the sword back in form. Manta was never there. So in that sense, there is some deviation there. So it's like there's a different kind of deviation. I think there for me, it's a little bit for the worse, because it just feels more. It's rushed in a sense that it just kind of goes through those scenes like it's nothing. It doesn't take its time to build up. It doesn't take its time to help build the characters. And it doesn't really. I guess if you do think about it, it is deviating in a different direction. I remember there was a notable scene when Manta comes back to school with his injuries. He had like a brace and everything. He had a bandage over his head and everything. In the manga, and of course this anime, the new one, his friends laugh at him because he's been going to that graveyard too many times, so they just thought, hey, he got hurt for being reckless and such. But in the first anime, they were mega concerned for him because he got his ass whooped by Ryu and his gang. So while those parts stay intact and such, I feel like at least the pacing in the first anime was more appropriate. It really gives a little more time to build, and it's like the really small things that do really add up to a really great experience. And I think the music was a lot more appropriate too, and when the music plays is very appropriate. And like I said, like the music in the new one, it's just kind of plays more frequently. So those moments, the weight of them, kind of gets lost there for me. I'm very nitpicky with this one because I do really like it, but you know, other than that, they seem to be really trying to get through things so that way they can get to the main fights, right, for the Shaman King fight or whatever, the whole Shaman King tournament or competition. So, and of course, it really seems like they're gonna try to get to the true ending as quickly as possible, I guess. So they're really trying to trim out these parts, right? Where while maybe for a number of people it just seems like filler to them, but to me it's like it helps build more character for these characters. But is it really filler when it's from the manga, right? So I don't know. That's an interesting opinion that I got from my tweet. I tweet this pretty much this opinion out, and someone called it filler. So I'm not upset or anything, but just that I just thought it was interesting that they call filler when it's straight from the manga. I guess in a sense, this anime does deviate from the manga once again, because again, Yo goes straight to that museum. Manta's not there, and he calls out Mosuke. While Yo's on his own. So by the end of it, he gives the Harasame to Aminomaru. And Aminomaru already showed up, like, right after Yo gets introduced. He shows the ghost of the graveyard, and Manta just screams off and such. Aminomaru is just there, like, boom, like, alright, well, the surprise kind of got lost, in a way. I mean, yeah, you already know he's going to have Aminomaru, but it would have been nice to see, things play out in the manga, and how it did in the first anime as well. So the choices that they made for this time around, for at least for the early things, are a little questionable for me. But with all that said, everything else is good. The voice acting is still good. The voice actors still sound great, even though a lot of years have passed. Although I haven't heard Anna yet, but Anna is, you can hear her sing, so definitely is still good. You can still hear her as Jessie, and Jessie still sounds, or Musashi, she still sounds essentially the same, right? So, it really goes to show of how much they are able to keep their range despite the age that has come by. So that's fine there. That's great there, actually. So the art style, the looks of things is good. The voice acting is great. The musical cues is where it gets a little questionable because it kind of changes up the moments a bit. The pacing of it is what kind of gets me all nitpicky at the most. So yeah, so obviously the atmosphere and the pacing is what's very different if you want to compare this directly to the first anime. And more ways than one, I do like the first anime a little better when it comes to the pacing and the atmosphere. Very much more appropriate, and it brings more weight to those certain scenes in that sense. I mean, besides the art style in the first one showing his age, the charm is definitely still there because of the atmosphere and the pacing and the way that the things play out for those key scenes, I guess. So anyway, all that being said, I still really like it for what it is. It's really nice to see Shaman King back, and they're showing love to him, to that series. I really am happy with it. I'm still gonna keep watching it. I want to see that new update and such. I definitely want to see characters like Lyzurg or Lyzurg. You may want to pronounce his name depending on the drug that he's based off of. But anyway, the first anime made Lyzurg absolutely different. So that's one of the things that really got me a little upset and soured back then. So hopefully in this anime at least they'll make up for sort of the shortcomings right now for the new one with these scenes being intact, showing the new animation style. The effects have been really good too. The soul effects has been really good, seems like. So hopefully the oversoul will look really good once it comes on screen. Because, back then, it kind of, on the first anime, it has sort of shown his age. So, again, the visuals have shown his age. So, hopefully, the new one can kind of, like, make up for that. So, anyways, that's all I got for the first episode for the review on it. I actually watched this back-to-back with the first anime, episode 1, and the new anime, episode 1. So, definitely an interesting sort of experiment. And yeah, so the differences are very, 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 very apparent besides the visuals. So anyways, if you have any comments, leave them down below for Shaman King. What do you guys think? And yeah, so pretty cool. Really glad that it's going strong once again, getting that love. And yeah, so leave any of those comments down below for Shaman King. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit the thumbs up, as always. Really appreciate you guys, because it's very helpful. So this has been my review for Shaman King, the new one, 2021, episode 1. I'll probably do a review after a couple more episodes. I won't do this for like every single episode, maybe, unless I have like some things to talk about. This could be a weekly thing, possibly, sure, but sometimes one episode probably won't say much, the other probably have more to say. So we'll see about that. We'll play by ear. And till then, thank you guys so much. I'll see you guys in the next video. Sean out.